George is like, my mom keeps calling me and keeps saying that she wants me to move back, and like, why don't I move back with you and all this stuff. So that's what we decided to do. So we decided to move to Oregon. One of the scariest decisions of my life. I still can't believe I even did it, to be honest, because I'm like not super brave of a person, so I don't know how that ended up even happening. But he's like, yeah, there's like a lot more opportunities there, like the minimum wage is higher, we would live with my mom, and then we could go to school and do all this stuff because it would be closer to like schools and things like that. And I'm like, that makes perfect sense. Like, living with my parents isn't really that great because like the closest community college was like, I don't even know, like 50, 60 miles one way. It was something ridiculous, like really far out of the way. So it's like barely even feasible to even do that. Plus it wasn't comfortable living there anyway. So it's like, there's no way they're going to let us live there for like 2 years or something while we go get education. So we let them know we're gonna move. They were not on board with it. They thought it was crazy, especially since the car I had at the time, George's car, like, was a piece of junk car, so we ended up selling that and getting money from that. But then my car was old. It was a 95 Sentra, and when I got it, it already had 300,000 miles on it, and that's when the speedometer, or the odometer, had died at that point. In the speedometer, the whole unit had died at that point. So it was already, I don't even know how long before that it had died, but that's at the point it had died. But the car was still running, so we decided, like, okay, well, we tested it. I guess he drove it to like Richmond or something, which was like 50, 60 miles away, something like that, and was like, it rode there fine, we're good, we can go across country. I'm like, we can? I'm like, are you sure about this? Like, I'm scared. Anyway, so yeah, we decided to pack up our belongings. We had a guinea pig named Bobby at the time, and packed her up, and we drove across the country. Oh, excuse me, I said it was a 95 Sentra. It was a 92 Sentra. It wasn't even a 95. Like, that would have been an upgrade. It was a 92. So we like packed up what we had, and like, other than some stuff I had to end up shipping over there, but like majority of our things were in the car, and sold everything else, packed up our guinea pig, and drove across the country. And like, as we actually made it to Richmond, I kept thinking to myself, like, I'm sorry, like, I have really bad indigestion. We're leaving the state. Like, what is happening? Like, I've never left the state without my family. Like, this is nuts. Like, is this happening? Is this real life? So it was a little scary, needless to say. And I also had that moment too, like, when we were halfway through the country, like, we're in Texas right now. We're in Texas. Like, what is happening? Like, we're in the middle of the country. I'm still shocked by this, you know? And then, yeah, so we went to Arizona, because I was like, well, you know, I really want to stop in Arizona, because I was obsessed with Arizona. I don't know why, because I don't even freaking like hot weather, so I don't, obviously, as a lunatic, but like, I was obsessed with living in Arizona. I was like, this would be so cool to live in the desert. That would be like amazing. So I was like, okay, on the way there, and I had looked up this town called Fountain Hills, which I was obsessed with, and which I'll never be able to afford to live there because it's like a multi-million-dollar town or whatever. Anyway, so I was like, oh my gosh, we have to like go there, and we have to stop and hang out there. That would be so fun. So that's the only real stop we made, by the way. Like, we just booked it because he's like, look, you have an old car, like, I don't know how long this car is gonna last. What if it died in the middle of the country? We have, you know, it's like pre-cell phones and things like that, you guys. So think about this. Like, scary. If something happened to you, you'd be hosed. So well, actually, I lied, I did have a cell phone, but it was like janky. Like, it was garbage cell phone. And I don't know if I even kept it actually on the road trip, just because of the fact that like I was on my parents' plan originally. So I don't even know if I even still had it, because I might have gotten rid of it beforehand because they weren't going to pay the bill. That's another thing, I don't remember, but I don't know if we even had the cell phone. So it might have just been us like winging it with maps. So we went all the way across country, went up through California, did stop in Arizona for like a minute, and like literally not even a day. We're just like, oh hey, Fountain Hills. We like drove around and walked around a little bit, and we're like, okay, cool, bye, peace out. Went up to Oregon. Another thing, I was so terrified too, because like, so we like awkwardly walk up to his mom's house. I had seen pictures of his mom's house, so I like knew, but the whole time I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna meet his mom. I'm not only gonna meet his mom, I'm gonna be living with his mom, so I've never even talked to. Like, what am I doing? What is happening? What is my life? Terrified. I also remember like walking in, and all of his nieces and nephews, who were like really small at the time, are like, Uncle George, and they're like hugging him. It was so cute. And then they're like hugging me, and I'm like, I don't even know you people. Anyway, so and I wasn't around children a lot, so it was kind of like a little bit of a different experience when you're like, oh, there's like 6 kids here. Or do they live here? What's happening? Anyway, they just happen to live next door. So, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so nervous. So I like pretty much just shuffle back to the rooms. I'm like, oh god, where are we sleeping? I just want to get away. Like, I don't know anyone. And I mean, despite the fact that I'm on YouTube right now, I'm actually very shy. Like, I do not like meeting new people. It is scary to me. Like, I fake it as much as humanly possible. So, it was terrifying, and it was a lot worse back in the day, which is saying something. So, anxiety. Just thinking about it right now gives me anxiety. Like, you don't even know. I'm like, oh god, the things I was encountering. So I like get all my stuff situated. We like move in with her that same day. Just differences in culture. It's called culture shock for a reason. So his mom was like, oh, well, you can't live here unless you're engaged. And I'm like, things are escalating really quickly. Like, I don't mind being engaged because I'm living here now, but what do you mean? Like, what is happening? So little do I know that engaged in their culture means something different than it means in our culture. So what this entailed, and the culture I'm talking about is Hmong culture. Yeah. So, and I'd never been around Hmong people other than George, so I didn't like know what was going on. Oh yeah, so I go there. His brother's like, yeah, you need to come to our house and we're gonna have this engagement ceremony. I'm like, okay, what does that involve? It involves a live chicken being swung at you. Like, just swung in your face while it's like in your face. And then someone chanting something in a language you don't know. Terrifying. I would describe that as terrifying. So I'm like, are we in a cult? What's happening? Like, am I gonna die tonight? Like, why did I come across the country? Like, what's happening? You know, I mean, George was probably trying to play it off cool. Like, yeah, my family's normal. We do it all the time. Everybody's family does that. Don't yours do that? Anyway, no, mine doesn't. So anyway, I ended up sleeping at other people's house I didn't know. So we slept at his brother's house and his wife's house with their kids and stuff. And so that was already like nerve-wracking, because like, not only have I not been here, like, I'm meeting so many new people I don't know. I'm sleeping at someone else's house, not even a house I'm gonna be staying at. And then the next morning we wake up and they're like, oh yeah, we just cooked this chicken, the one that we were flinging at your face yesterday. Yeah, we have to eat them now. I'm like, what? I have to eat them? Okay, cool. Yeah, so that was an experience. And then I guess at the point we were Hmong engaged, I'm not sure what the logistics on that are. So that was something else. So between that, sorry, there's just so much, and my eyes watering profusely, so it's not like I'm crying. I'm tired. And it's like making my nose drip. So not only that, but then I was also terrified too, because when I learned to drive, like, I didn't even learn to drive on the freeway, you guys, and I had such a, like, this could be a whole nother story time, a terrible phobia. Phobia, oh god, I work in eyes, okay. A phobia, not a phobia, okay. Such a terrible phobia of driving on the freeway. Like, you don't even understand how bad the anxiety was. I mean, to the point where like George was like, yeah, we're gonna, before we move, you'll just get on the freeway, it'll be fine. Girl, you got it. I did not have it. I pulled onto the on-ramp. I literally had a meltdown. I was like, I can't do it. I like started crying, uncontrollably sobbing. Like, we had to pull on the side of the road, like on the on-ramp. Like, it wasn't even on the side of the road. I like couldn't even get, I was like, oh my God, I can't. You don't understand. I'll have to merge on the freeway, and I'll have to speed up, and I'll have to go faster than the speed limit. And it was like insane. Like, literally had a meltdown. So I was not accustomed to driving at certain speeds or on freeways or anything. So when I moved to town, or to Portland, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this because I've never lived in the city. I don't know anything around here at all. Like, I don't know where anything's located. Like I said, it's not like, you know, you could just Google. I mean, I guess you could do like MapQuest stuff, but it was like paper. So I mean, if you made a wrong turn, you were hosed, you know, and you just had to like try to wing it all the time. So I was like a complete nervous basket case the whole time I would drive here. And plus, like, there was just a lot more people, you know, where I'm from, they didn't even have a stoplight. So I'm like going from that to like, there's lights, there's like freeways, there's so much going on. So that was a whole nother learning curve, which took me a while. And then even then, still, like right now, like I have a little bit of anxiety if I go downtown, because I'm like, oh my God, there's a one way. Oh no, I need to go down that way, but that's a one way, and then I'll have to figure out another way. Oh my God, oh, the anxiety. But like, you know, it's like now you have phone GPS. I don't even know why I have anxiety, because it's like, well, it's gonna be like, you're stupid, oh, you missed your turn, make another turn up ahead. You know, it's not like that serious now, but that anxiety is real. Like, it's hard to get over. And I mean, no matter how much I would like drive places, it was still giving me anxiety. So I don't even know how I managed to live there the first year, because I was a complete basket case. And then we would have a lot of people come over all the time that I didn't know, and then I'd be like really nervous about that. And I, like, the first year I lived with him, I was so depressed. I was like, I don't know anyone. I'm like so nervous. Like, I'm like anxiety all the time because I don't know these people, you know, like, and I'm living with people I don't know, and his mom clearly didn't like me. The first year I mean, she didn't like me for a while, but that's a different story too. But like the first year we were living there, like when we were living under her roof, she clearly hated me, didn't want me there. Like, you're not Hmong, get the heck out. So it was like that whole pressure of like, oh, you need to do everything the Hmong way, and then we had a lot of like issues because of that. Because I was like, well, I'm not Hmong, so I don't know why you expect me to do things like a Hmong person would do them. That makes no sense. I didn't even know what Hmong was till I met you. So like, how can you expect me to be part of the culture? Like, that doesn't even make sense, George. So that was a whole nother issue, because he's like, oh, well, you know, my mom said that you should be doing this. And I'm like, well, I don't really care what your mom says, because I'm not dating your mom. So I don't know what the issue is. So more awkwardness. I mean, like, I wouldn't even go, like, his family would come over and I'd feel bad. I would like freaking hide. Like, I'm just like, oh God, I don't know them. Like, there's people here I don't know. I'm so scared. Like, and if they don't like me, then I'm stuck. Like, I have, you know what I mean? Like, there's just so much stuff going through your head because you're like, I have no support. I'm completely alone here. I mean, I have George, but like, if something went awry, like, how am I gonna get home? So the first year I lived there was like a nervous wreck. And then also his brother, right before we moved back, or like a little bit before that, they actually, they moved back from Arizona, like, to live with her again. So they were living there too. And so they were sharing a bedroom, and those are other people I didn't know either. So that was like nerve-wracking too. So I got a job and I was working there for a while, and, sorry, this is such a long story. I'm trying to like sum it up the best I can, but then I keep going on tangents. Anyway, I applied for college at that time, like to go full-time. So I was doing full-time school, full-time work. And then George was like also going to full-time school for a little bit. But the thing is, his brother was like, oh, I own this gas station, and if you guys don't help me, then Anyway, I can't even eye roll enough. Like, if you guys don't help me, then I used his mom's house for collateral and blah, blah, blah. So it was like this whole thing. Like, if we don't help, the house we live in is going to be gone. So, I mean, it was like pretty much blackmail situation. Like, you didn't really have much choice and except to help this situation out. So, in between going to school full-time during the day, working my job, which was swing shift at night, I would stop and help George at the gas station for like an hour. So that was a whole nother thing. And it was like pumping people's gas manually, etc. It was like not a fun job. So I was doing all this stuff. I would come home and then his mom would be like, oh, you know, like telling him about how like I should be basically a slave and I should be like doing all this work. Like I should be doing so much like cleaning and so much stuff like that. I'm like, look, George only works at the gas station. He's making $0 because he doesn't get paid from his brother. And I'm the only one making income. I'm working full-time, going to school full-time, and working at the gas station on the side. I think he can come and do the dishes, and I think he can come and do the laundry, okay? Like, that's the way it is. And I had an attitude about it. And George would like take up for her, which I'm still bitter about if you can't tell. And I'm like, you know what? If this is the life that you think that you should have, then I don't need to be part of it. So we almost broke up at that point because I was like, time to go home. I'm calling my parents. I'm packing this paddy wagon up and getting out of here because I'm like, I am not going to take care of everybody in here and do all this stuff. I didn't like come over here. You didn't buy me. I'm not a slave. Like, no, that's not how this is going. So I ended up basically saying that I was gonna have to leave anyway, but George wised up, and after me telling him multiple times that his brother was screwing him over and that his mom was like not doing the best job over here being a mom and trying to break us up basically, he finally agreed and we ended up getting an apartment because I couldn't take it anymore. I'm like, I'm moving back. Like, this is just outrageous. I was like, it's too much stress. I was like, I don't like it. I was like, it's one thing to not like somebody, but like when your mom's standing in between us during an argument and like yelling stuff in another language and you're taking up for her and like bringing up points that she's bringing up and basically saying I'm a piece of crap. No, done. So that didn't help. He's lucky we're still together, to be honest. So we moved out in an apartment and guess what? We were fine. We lived in an apartment. Things were cool. Like, we were doing so good there. I can't imagine what the issue was. What was the catalyst? I don't know. So we lived there. Everything was fine. We were like, things were starting to get better. I felt like more comfortable being in Oregon, you know? And I started to like get my confidence up a little bit more. So things were like going better. And we both got a job at the same company, etc. We talked about that in the debt story, so I'm not gonna go into like that kind of stuff again. And then we found another apartment and like things were just going really well, right? So at one point, as I said, we had to live back with his mom again. And that was like a pivotal point because I'm like, if we live with your mom again, that can't happen. There's no way that I'm gonna deal with the kind of crap I dealt with before. I was like, not gonna happen. I was like, if I have to do it, then I'm gone. So I'm just telling you in advance how it's gonna be, because I don't even want to live with her right now. Like, I was so adamant against it because I had done it before, been there, done that, and it wasn't a good experience. But he promised me it was gonna be different. So during this time, like 2008 to 2012, we lived with her and we were still strained just because of the fact that I was going to school full-time. I was like, actually more than full-time, to be honest with you, more than full-time, because at PCC full-time is like 12 credits and I was taking double that, sometimes more, just because I wanted to get done really fast and like be able to get my life on track. So that was going on. Like, his mom was still kind of being like a little ornery. She wasn't as bad as she was before. I think she'd kind of like figured like, okay, I guess she's gonna be here and there's nothing I can do about it, so move on. So she tried to be nicer to me, which was fine. And then also, so being like stressed from school, stressed from like, I couldn't get a job, we were unemployed, we were in debt, etc. And then George was like looking for a job at one point. He did get a job later, but then there was like at least a year or two where he just stopped looking. And then we would like fight about that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, why are you not looking for work? Like, I don't, like, you have to work. I can't support both of us on unemployment and going to college and stuff. I was like, you're not going to school and you're not working. Like, you have to do something. Like, you can't just like mooch off of me. That's how I felt. Even though I was living in his mom's house, it felt like I was being mooched off of, because I'm like, I feel like I'm doing everything. Like, it's not right, you know? So that was another stress. And then we almost broke up then. But then luckily he figured it out after I'm like, literally, I'm going to leave. Literally moving away. Literally gonna go get my own place. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm like, I've got to try to get out of this situation. I mean, I was like doing budgets on how to like live on my own. I'm like, okay, so this is the situation. I'm gonna leave you. I don't know if you want to figure this out. And he's like, well, you don't understand. It's really hard to get a job. And I'm like, I do understand, but like, there's a difference between you're not getting a job and there's a difference between like you're not looking for a job. Like, if you were actively looking every single day and you're going on interviews and you're pounding the pavement and people just aren't hiring you, there's nothing you can do about that. But when you just don't look, there's a lot you can do about that. You could look. So I was annoyed. He finally did get a job and it was fine and we got back on track. But you know, it this sounds like a bad love story. It's like really dramatic and terrible. I mean, I guess there's been a lot of ups and downs. So later on, 2012, we were able to move into our own house, finally save up enough money to do that. He's working his current job, I'm working in my current job. And we were able to get married in 2015. So that was nice, because we had been like trying to get married for years. Or thinking about getting married for years and just never came to be. But I mean, there's just been a lot going on, and like, even with my parents and things, like the situation was so bad with them that, you know, and I wanted to be with him so bad that I actually looked into like getting emancipated. At one point I'd like looked into filing like legal papers, because I was like, I just want to be with you and I feel like we're fighting to be together and it's just not working, and I want it to work so bad. And there was a lot of as I said, there was a lot of background stuff going on with my family. I don't want to go into that. That's a whole separate issue and it's in the past, but that was another reason for the emancipation too. But I ended up not going through with it because I kept thinking like, I love my family, and if I file to get emancipated, it's like a really like it's a finality, you know. I don't think we can ever go back from that. So I didn't do that, luckily. And I mean, we had to struggle harder in the meantime to be together, but I think in the long run it's proven itself that we were meant to be together. But I guess because our anniversary is coming up and it's like a bigger anniversary, I just kept thinking like, it'd be nice to share this, because I mean, one day maybe I won't remember as much. I mean, like right now I'm already forgetting stuff. That's kind of sad. But it's like little details, because there was so much going on at that time. Like, can't even remember all of it. Like, it was just constant like stuff going on all the time. But that's and I mean, even though it had some like questionable stuff going on, and there's always been questionable stuff going on, I don't know, we've just made it. So hopefully this story is more inspiring than sad, especially toward the end with all the mom drama. But I don't know, it's like good sometimes to like think like, oh, you know, you can make it through anything, and even if you're really struggling, if you love each other enough, you know, you can get through hard times. So hopefully that was the point of this, to be inspiring, plus also kind of say sometimes, you know, especially when you're from different cultures and different, like, I mean, everything about us is fairly opposite in the way that like he's from the city, I'm from like the country, and our families are completely different, opposite spectrums, you know. He has like immigrant parents, you know, so there's a lot of like differences there that mean that things that we do are different, and we have to kind of compensate for that. All right, you guys, I just wanted to add one more thing too, that I forgot to add. So our anniversary marks 16 years of being together. That's crazy. 3 years being married, which I feel like's already flown by, and then 17 years of just being part of each other's lives. So The stats on that are a little scary. Scary in a good way. It's a good thing, but I just wanted to add that to my little note here, so you can tell why I'm like, this is a big anniversary and I want to find some way to like remember it. All right, thanks.